Hola a todos, bienvenidos a 5 minutos más, el programa donde dos amigos reviven su infancia o en algunos casos aprenden todo lo que se perdieron. Me llamo Kendra.
Y me llamo Scott.
Sí, that was a little rough because I haven't used my Spanish in like a while, but
use it or lose it,
I had
bro.
about like 75% of the words, and then I was like, sentence structure is lacking a little bit in the memory. So
Yeah.
I haven't
I haven't
had to learn any of that since I finished my minor in like 2012. So
Going on 10 years of rust. Fine.
Yeah. I mean, I say so. I practice sometimes with like my students, but
yeah.
But even some of them aren't super fluent, so I'll be like, "Como se dice?" whatever, and they're like, like it's like I'm not asking the correct students, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know if I have any more jokes. Where's my?
I got a couple dumb ones here. As always, they're dumb. What does a sprinter eat before a race?
A sprinter?
Yeah.
Asphalt.
Nothing. They fast.
Oh, that makes sense. Yeah, I actually don't have any new messages from this place since last Tuesday.
Wow.
Yeah.
Where do you learn to make a banana split?
I feel like I've heard this joke before.
Probably. Seems like a common one.
I don't know.
Sunday school.
Oh, sounds like something Minions would be good at.
Yeah, that sounds about right. And let's see. How do you get a squirrel to like you?
You go nuts about it?
You act like a nut.
Oh. You should take a podcasting selfie and I can post them on the page.
A podcasting selfie?
I just took one with my microphone in front of my face.
Is that what the thing is to do?
Yeah, because we never, I don't know, we got to mix it up. And it looks bad when I take a picture of you on the screen.
It looks bad when I take a picture of me off.
Oh.
So we have that going for us.
I see.
Wow, my webcam and my phone camera look so different. Like I actually look like a normal person with the light on my phone.
Yeah.
Instead of on this webcam.
Yeah. Are you still using like the separate webcam?
Yeah.
Because my computer camera isn't like the best, but it's definitely better than like your like separate. Because I can tell when I like edit the video, I'm like, oh god.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I have it like on the warm setting too for light and everything. And I was like, it still just looks like me. I'm like washed out by blue.
Yeah, because like my lighting looks more warm than your lighting does, and I haven't adjusted any camera settings.
Yeah.
So. And like I have this. I turned it off. I think I have it on the what light setting? I have it on like the not the bright blue one and not the warm one, like the middle one.
Like soft light.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. You got any hot news?
Hot news?
I don't know what that means.
No. Spent a lot of money at the game convention, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Not as much as Ian spent though.
I mean that makes sense.
Yeah. So that was pretty fun. Oh my god. So I don't think I talked to you about it at all. I probably it's not the worst hotel I've ever stayed at because I've stayed in like a $50 a night hotel. Mm-hmm. But this was a terrible hotel. We went there like 6 years ago for one of the conventions there. It was like our first time in Portland. Mm-hmm. And it was just it was cheap. It's like a Shiloh Inn. And it was like, whatever. You got what you expected back then. And so when it came up again, they were like, oh, just find the cheapest thing. And of course, it was that hotel again. And I go in there and oh my God. Well, first off, me and Keaton show up. We get there about like 6:30 on Friday or something like that. Parking lot totally empty. Like it didn't even look like the hotel was in business. It was so crazy looking and deserted. The lobby was locked because they never opened the lobby anymore. So the guy had to like let us in so we could check in.
Mm-hmm.
And then me and Keaton start unloading, and it is just like filth. It smells like a bar. Like it smells like CJ's did when we would go to 7 to 11. And like I would not even walk in the hallway with my socks on. Like that's how dirty and nasty the carpet was. And to make it worse, as we were unloading all of our stuff, we like walked out. And as we walked out, this like really old, I mean, allegedly homeless lady, she like tried to snatch the door to keep it from shutting so she could get in. And then she missed and she was like, oh, shucks, like that. And then she's like started to follow me and Keaton as we walked around the building. And she continues past us, walk to right next to our window on the outside of the building. And she starts pounding on the window next to ours. And she was like, hey, let me in. And I was like, me and Keaton were just like, I was just looking for a nice place to park my car. So I was just like perusing the parking lot. And I was like, what is going on here? One, there's no one here. Two, the only people that are here are apparently in the room next to ours. And they do let her in. And I can only surmise they were like a group of like 3 homeless people that put together their money and they were just like staying there. And they chain smoked in the hotel the whole time. So, and it was one of those hotels where you would walk into a cubby and then one door on the left, one door on the right. So it wasn't like hallway access doors. There was a little cubby first, and they were right across from us. So like every time they walked in and out, it was just like blast of cigarette smoke. And it was so terrible and disgusting. And I told Keaton, I was like, if we come to Portland ever again, we're never staying here again.
I'm glad I didn't decide to last minute come for that.
Yeah. I told Cheyenne, I was like, if she came with me, we would have been going somewhere else.
Yeah. When I went on my trip, to the ocean or whatever, and I decided to go a day early.
Mhm.
I mean, most of the Motel 6s have been like remodeled, so like aesthetically they're not bad. And this was one of the ones. The one I stayed in was one of the one of the indoor ones where there's like hallways. Not that because most Motel 6s are like the out. They're like a hotel, not a motel or whatever.
Motel is door outside.
Whatever, you know what I mean. But this was technically in Gresham, so it's like east of Portland, but it's pretty close to Portland. Like, I mean, it like there's no distinction really, whatever.
Yeah.
And I got there kind of later because it was when I was working for Gear Up, so I left earlier, but I got my COVID vaccine like right before I left. And their lobby wasn't open. You checked in through like a window.
Yeah.
And everything. And the girl was like, are you staying by yourself? And I was like, yeah. And then she like moved my room. And I was like, well, that's not a good sign.
Yeah.
Like, but I mean, I had my dog with me. So like, like,
yeah,
she has big stranger danger. So like, whatever. But, that would undo all of the work I've done on making her be less afraid of people, but whatever.
Right.
But it was like sketchy. Like when I took her out, I felt like sketchy because there was definitely just like people living there, and like the hallways were weird because it's different than like a normal hotel or whatever with a hallway. Like it's very like weird. And then it was like on a street, and so I felt like awkward, just like it's pretty busy though. It wasn't like empty, so that was like the nice part. But yeah, it was like definitely pretty sketchy. But I pretty much just like, I think she moved me to like a less populated area.
Yeah, I kind of gave you a little room.
Yeah,
and that was kind of the bad part about this hotel too, because while it was kind of like on the outskirts of a nicer area, right on the other side was like, we were right across the road from a 7-Eleven. And there were just constant homeless people there. Mm-hmm. And I mean, like,
and probably closer to like the middle of the city, where it's like I was in like a not actually Portland. So
yeah. And then at one point we did go to downtown Portland. I had never been there before. And that was where Bait was. I was going to go to Bait in Portland. And we walked all that way and they were closed. So that was cool. But we went down there and oh my God, Portland is a shithole Like it is so bad.
I haven't been there really recently. I might go next month.
Dude, there was
But
like four
yeah.
people on every corner that were homeless, and like we walked past like homeless people fighting. We I walked by this electrical box, and I think one of them had just like stood on top of it and taken a shit and then like rubbed it all over the box. And what else do we see? Oh, at the bus stop, just vomit express. Vomit was everywhere. Dude, it was like, and I was like, I've been to other places. They say Seattle's worse than Portland, but Seattle feels way better. And I mean, I've been to like bigger cities like Chicago and stuff, and it did not feel like that. I don't know what Portland's got going on, but holy shit, that was rough, I must say.
Yeah, I've heard that it's like worse or not worse. I think there's just more of a houseless
Yeah, it's
issue.
definitely way worse than it was like
Like
5 6 years ago.
for the concentration of like
Hmm.
people. And also if you think about it, like there's not really that many big cities in Oregon. And they're all kind of, like all
Yeah.
the bigger ones are kind of spread out too. So I think maybe that's because like in Seattle, everything's I mean, that's like the biggest part of the state and it's very
Hmm.
concentrated and easy to take public transportation. So it probably seems more, spread out and stuff
Yeah.
for like all of King County versus like just Seattle. But yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it was weird walking around because, like wearing nice shoes and stuff. And I was like, I feel bad. I feel like I'm going to get stabbed in the kidney or something.
Yeah.
So that was fun.
Sounds exciting.
The convention itself was wild, though. It was a good time. There was an auction. One like old school Nintendo game was up there for auction. And we like had to do research because before the bidding even started, it was $22,000. And it ended up going for $43,000 at one game. And apparently it was one that they think there's only like 10 to 20 copies left existing. And it's just like a stupid track and field game. It's like called Stadium Events. But yeah, they said that was the single
A
like
weird game for
yeah, it was like the biggest sale that they had made, anything like that. And everything at that auction went for so much money. It was crazy. So that was pretty cool. They had free drinks, or well, it wasn't free drinks, but they actually had drinks accessible at the auction, which is kind of fun.
nice.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, that was my weekend anyway.
Last weekend. What did I do last weekend? Oh, I took my truck apart.
Dismantling,
Yeah.
exciting. I brought my car up from having 1 mile to having like 860 miles.
Nice.
Yeah,
Look
road
at
trip.
that.
It was much more comfortable to road trip in, I must say.
Yeah. I'm really upset. Like, I don't know how come they don't have a hybrid option for the hatchback, but that pretty much nixes any plan I had of potentially getting a car and keeping my truck.
Well, you say that this week.
Yeah, but I don't like the sedan and I didn't want to get a new car that wasn't a hybrid. So,
Well, you'll just find another car, is what I'm saying.
yeah, but I'm pretty much strictly only looking at Toyotas.
Mm,
It doesn't nix the getting an older car plan. It just nixes the getting a new car, keeping the truck plan.
I see.
Yeah. But it's weird to me that they don't when they have a hybrid hatch in like Europe.
Well, they have a lot of stuff in Europe we don't have here.
But maybe it's because they have the Corolla Cross hybrid in 2023, so maybe that's how come they didn't do the hatchback or something.
Probably.
I don't know. It's really weird to me though. But yeah,
Yeah.
I just want them to announce a forerunner, honestly. If
Hmm.
they announced it early in the year like they did with the Tundra, that would help me decide faster. Because they announced the Tundra like really early, I think in 2022 for the 2023 model.
Yeah. Makes sense.
And I mean, they've had the same one for like 13 years. So, um, I mean, they got to be having it ready soon.
Well, you would think.
Yeah. I didn't know this was gonna have so many questions. I was like, oh, I should schedule an appointment for my COVID booster, and it has so many questions on it, and the answers are like no to all of them. But it's like, do you take this? Do you take this? Do you use nicotine? It says, do you have long-term health problems with lung disease or asthma? But I feel like I should put no because I don't really have a health problem from my asthma. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, that would only be if you have something serious and diagnosed.
Yeah. Jesus, is this the last thing? I just don't want to forget to do it because it recommended that you get the booster before the end of October.
The first one or the second one?
Like the updated booster.
I haven't even got the first one.
I had the first one, but it's been a year since I got it. But they're recommending. Wait, I don't need to do this. I'm not a guardian.
Maybe I should set that up for like Friday.
Yeah, I wanted to do it for like a Saturday, but they did it Sunday. So hopefully I don't have a negative reaction. I didn't to any of the other ones. After I got my second shot or whatever, I had like chills a little bit just the first night, but that was it. Nice. Okay. Anyways, I finished that. I literally thought it was going to take like 2 seconds to just like schedule the appointment.
That's
I'm going to fill in the additional information later. How much more additional information do you need? Jesus Christ. Wait, I don't need to fill the insurance forms out. Do I? I don't think so. Whatever. Anyways, I'm over it. I'm done.
Yeah.
Okay. I feel like we just talked about weird stuff for a long time, but
heck yeah. It's the gossip of the week, baby.
Yeah. But we're going to do more gossiping because my brain was dead and I was like, I don't know what to freaking talk about. And then when we were going to record yesterday, I was like, well, let's just talk about Kanye because that's interesting. And then I didn't get home until like 5:30. So
he's a wild child.
Yeah. But I thought we would start mild, just with normal musical artist things.
Right. Sure.
And I actually couldn't find one of the websites I was on yesterday, and I was really upset because it was like a literal timeline that you could like scroll through. So now I have like 5 tabs open because I didn't want to try to organize this better. And this one, yeah, I don't know. So it might be a little bit of a hot mess, but that's okay. But we're gonna start. Wait, what website is this?
Is it this?
Click. This was it. How did you find? How come this didn't come up today? And I was on it yesterday.
I literally just typed Kanye timeline, and
that's what I did earlier. And it showed me all the other websites I clicked on yesterday except this one.
Wow.
Yeah. Wow. Well, I have other notes now, so we'll see how they align with this one because well, this is actually easier to read than what I was gonna do. So maybe
it's more like infographic type.
Yeah. Thing. So maybe we will start here, and I'll just consult my tabs. Kanye Omari West was born on June 8th, 1977.
Okay.
He was born in Douglasville, Georgia, which must be near Atlanta because when you look him up, like it says Atlanta. He is the son of Donda Williams, I think is how you say that.
Yeah.
And Ray West. When he was 3 years old, his parents were divorced, and he moved with his mother to Chicago. So this is where I have more information on other tabs. His mother was an English professor at Chicago State University. So that's cool because like I want to be an English professor. That's the dream. Probably won't happen. And then his dad Ray was a former Black Panther, and an award-winning photojournalist. So. That's exciting. And his father stayed in Atlanta, so he would spend summers with there. But there was like a pretty big hip hop scene in Chicago, which makes sense, I think. So as a teen, he immersed himself in that. Now let me go back to this timeline because I was really upset when I couldn't find this. Yeah, so when he was 13 years old, his mother paid for the recording of his first song in a basement studio. And I don't know if you still have that up, but there's a nice little picture.
I do see that.
I literally feel like people used to look older for their age. Because like he's 13 in that picture.
Mm-hmm.
And he doesn't really look 13.
But to his credit, he looks pretty young today.
Yeah, that's true for being like 45 or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But anyways, so his mom shared that the basement studio was far from ideal, but he was happy. He was a happy lad.
Yeah.
In May of 1994, Kanye graduates from Polaris High School, which sounds like a photo school, though I'm sure it's not.
Polaris, that's the North Star, Kendra, but yes.
Well, I didn't take Science 9, so I don't know things like that. And Mr. Pettyjohn would have been the first to rub it in my face. So
probably.
Yeah, because he did that all the time in physics. He received a scholarship to attend Chicago's American Academy of Art. And he studied painting while there, which seems odd to me for someone who recorded a song when he was 13 in a basement studio.
He's artistic.
I mean, yeah. I wonder if he still paints.
Good question.
Does Kanye still paint? A close read of 17-year-old Kanye West's impressive art. Oh.
So it doesn't sound like it.
But some of this is very unique. It honestly might give some insight into what his brain is. Here, I'm going to send you the link for this and you can kind of scroll through it. Oops. Oh, I forgot I was going to send you a link for something else that was unrelated to this that I had already pasted into the chat box.
Yeah.
But it has like, if you scroll down past the video, it has apparently he began studying art at age 4. So I guess he was just all into the Polaris School for Individual Education. He has a very artistic background, though.
Yeah.
Polaris School for... This must be kind of like it's a Waldorf-inspired distance learning. So the Polaris School is a non-traditional private school. So
cool.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
So he was probably able to study the arts more, like what he was into. But these are like pretty, I mean, they're actually pretty good. Like the first one, the like sketch or whatever.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, it looks pretty good.
I mean, yeah, like those
better
are
than what I can do.
Yeah, I mean, I guess if he studied it when he was 4, the weird one that looks all combobulated.
Yeah.
I feel like that's like how he feels on the inside.
Maybe.
Like chained.
Everything's in the wrong place.
Yeah. But anyways, there's not that many. And then it's some lady, but whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so but anyways, he studied there for a little bit, but then transferred to Chicago State University, where he was majoring in English literature. But I believe it says he dropped out before he finished. It doesn't say that on here, but it did say that on one of the other websites I was on. I think, pretty sure it said he dropped out. This is now unconfirmed. I feel like I read too many things and now I can't find it.
Now you're shooting from the hip.
Yeah, that's weird. Did Kanye graduate college? I literally swear I read that he dropped out. Oh, he did drop out. Okay. I was like, he has a whole like album or something named College Dropout. So like he had to have dropped out, right? Like I'm not making that up. In 1997, he dropped out to pursue a full-time music career, which probably means he was almost done too. So at that point, I don't know why you wouldn't finish, but I'm an academic-oriented person, so what do I know?
Yeah, who needs it?
In 1996, he appeared at the Fat Beats storefront in Greenwich Village. Do they say that or do they say Greenwich? I've always been kind of confused by that.
That's a good question. I don't know.
Yeah, because like I feel like I feel like when
if it's
said
Britain related, it's always Greenwich or whatever.
Yeah, but we're from the Pacific Northwest. We don't understand all that POC and the CA stuff or whatever.
I understand your East Coast nonsense.
Yeah. While he was at the storefront, he dropped a freestyle that became very famous, and I really don't know what that is. I was gonna try to find it. Kanye storefront. I meant to do this earlier and I forgot. We can tell that I'm really put together. But Kanye West at Fat Beats, August 1996.
Fat Beats.
Heck yeah. Heck yeah, bitch.
Whoa.
Sent you a link for it.
I think I've got it.
Okay. I just clicked on the first one.
Yep.
Oh, why does it never play the computer sound through my headphones anymore?
Because it doesn't like you.
Probably. This is very 90s rap, too.
Oh, of course it is. He does look very young in that.
Yeah. Like, he almost doesn't look like the same. Maybe it's because he has hair.
Yeah.
Heck
The guy
yeah.
in the back with the hat, he's wearing his headphones like this.
I mean, that's like true 90s like style right there.
Yeah.
And I like how everyone's just kind of standing behind him.
Yeah. That guy's boogieing to it though. He's down.
Yeah. I wonder if those are just like random guys. You know?
Could be.
Like, or if they're like important people. I don't know. But anyway, so apparently that's like his first big thing.
There you go.
Also, what's up with the Fila brand or whatever? Because I feel like that's been like in and out a big thing, but also not.
Well, it's kind of like all the, retro fashion stuff. It just keeps coming back.
That's true. That's true.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see here. In August of nope, I lied. In January of 1998, he gets the big break. What every aspiring artist is looking for. He gets a taste of the industry, if you will. Boy. He sells his first beat to Chicago rapper Gravity. I've never really been big into the rap scene, so I don't know who that is.
Me neither.
But apparently he sold it for $8,000, which is probably a pretty good chunk of change in 1998. Yeah. And then he sold a beat to Jermaine Dupri, which sounds really familiar. That name. Don't know who it is.
Not to me, but sure.
I have a very limited rap scope. So, and the 90s, I don't know that much. I mean, I know some stuff. Like when I taught that music is literature.
Wow, there's also a lot of grammar errors on this. Kanye West, there's no T on that. Dupree used the bear for his debut album. I think that's supposed to be beat.
Yeah, I was like, what is that supposed to be? That's fine. Timepath.co/Kanye.
Yeah.
After Dupree's release, one of Kanye's beats was selected for Maz's
Harlem group.
Listen, if I wanted to do all this extra research on understanding the rap world, that would have taken a long time. I know some things about the Compton scene, and that's pretty much it. But anyways, shortly after all of those things, he dropped out of Chicago State University to do music full time. He was like, heck yeah, people are buying my beats. People are liking them. I'm going to drop my own beats, bitch.
There you go.
Yeah. So then in 2000, Kanye's career gets a major boost. So he began producing for Rockefeller Records artists. And I'm assuming that was a lot of big name people. And that's a fairly well-known, that actually is no longer, they are defunct. They've been defunct since 2013. But it seems like they had a lot of hip hop artists. I feel like that was when hip hop started peaking, in the mid 90s. So, and now hip hop is kind of not the same as what it was before. But
it does mention that he worked on one of Jay-Z's songs. So
yeah. So I just wanted to look up other artists that they had. The Notorious B.I.G. Sauce Money, Jazzo, Memphis Bleak. So a lot of big stuff going on there.
Big things.
He produced This Can't Be Life from Jay-Z's album The Destiny. And
The
he
Dynasty.
Yep, the Dynasty. And he also produced the title track for Beanie Siegel's The Truth. And this is the start of the decade that Rolling Stone believes made Kanye the icon that he is now. Because this is when Kanye starts, like, you know, he starts becoming a household name, if you will, maybe.
Sure, yeah.
Yeah, but it seems like most of his early contributions came from producing and working with Jay-Z. Because, I mean, who doesn't love a good Jay-Z song, you know?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we all love a good Jay-Z song every once in a while. And I mean, Beyonce definitely loves a good Jay-Z song too.
Of course.
Because, like, yeah, why wouldn't she? Anyways, what I'm trying to say is we've all rocked out to Jay-Z. Rocked out may not be the right word, but it's fine. In 2002, he's in a car accident. And I didn't know about this until today when I was scrolling through all of the things. But I'm going to switch to one of my other sources for a second. But he was injured in a near fatal car crash after falling asleep while driving home from a California recording studio.
Oops.
He was left with a broken jaw. It was wired shut by reconstructive surgery. And he returned to the studio 2 weeks later to record the ironically titled Through the Wire. And despite the damage, he is far from being silenced with his production, still being heard on an omnipresent top 5 hit.
Look at that.
Yeah. So don't fall asleep while you drive, honestly. I guess that was mostly the same information. There's a little bit more on what I read, but
yeah, and this one's worded very weird. And
yeah.
02, Kanye West met in a car accident that almost resulted in his death.
Yeah.
What? Okay. He did meet that accident.
He did. I mean, he met it head on, maybe.
Maybe.
All right. I'm switching back because this one has something from 2003. But Through the Wire was officially released in 2003 on a mixtape called Get Well Soon. And it's released as the lead single off his upcoming album, The College Dropout. And it was originally scheduled to drop in August, but it gets postponed 3 times, apparently.
Oh.
So, yeah. And he was pursuing his solo rap career while also producing. And like a lot of the songs he was producing were hitting the charts. So he was producing for Jay-Z, for Encore, Alicia Keys, You Don't Know My Name, Ludacris, Stand Up, and Twista's Slow Jams, which went number 1 across all 3 Hot 100 R&B and rap charts.
Nice.
And that was his very first chart topping song, not chart chopping, but maybe.
Chart chop.
So in 2004, he releases his debut album, his first full album, The College Dropout, and it was a massive success. It sold 441,000 units in its first week, and debuted at number 1 on the Billboard 200 albums chart. It includes songs such as Jesus Walks and All Falls Down. And I really only know like mid to late 2000s Kanye songs.
Yeah.
Like about the time when we were in college, probably. Because I wasn't really listening to a wide variety of music in middle school. I was in my oldies phase, as I'm sure you know.
Right. Famously oldies
phase. And I wanted to paint my room aqua and have black and white checkered flooring. And I do appreciate my parents not letting me do that.
Reining you in just a little.
Yeah. I really wanted to go for the diner theme with like the chrome accents and everything. I was a weird kid. I think my sense of style is pretty okay now. Or it would be better if I had more money, but you know, it's fine.
Yeah, we do what we can.
Yeah. But this album was certified 3 times platinum. So that's a pretty big heckin' deal.
Heckin'.
I'm trying to skip all the controversial stuff and then come back to it. So we're gonna, because I have a whole separate thing for controversial things. In 2007, he was scheduled to release his 3rd studio album, Graduation. This is worded weird. I feel like the phrasing is weird.
Yes, it is.
But Kanye West's album crushed 50 Cent on release day, and Graduation nabbed the #1 spot on the Billboard 200 albums chart again. It sold 957,000 copies in its first week. That's a lot.
That is a lot.
Yeah. Oh, also skipping back a second, in 2006, Kanye appeared in an issue of Rolling Stone, bearing a crown of thorns for the controversial. This is a controversy, but this one I don't really think came up in anything else, called The Passion of Kanye West.
Passion of the Christ spinoff.
That description of that image sounds really familiar, so maybe we'll circle back to it at some point. But I did want to talk about all the controversies kind of separately, because I thought that would be more fun. But maybe I'll try to speed up this part about the music. Okay. In 2008, 808s and Heartbreak is released. I'm pretty sure I do know that. I like, if I heard it, I would be like, oh yeah. He performed at Love Lockdown at the MTV Music Awards and sparked a lot of interest in his unique style of music. And then he released that song later. The dark sound, or this album, I guess, the dark sound of this album is due to the struggles the rapper was having with the death of his mother and the end of a relationship, which is, I think, the one with whatever Pfeiffer. What's her name?
Pfeiffer?
Yeah, like Ashley or Kanye. Hold on, as I don't know what tab this is in. Alexis Pfeiffer.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I think she was a fashion designer. Anyways, so it seems like that was the relationship he was grieving.
Yeah.
We're gonna skip 2009 and circle back to it. If you don't know what happened in 2009, you've never been on the internet before.
Yeah.
In 2010, he releases My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy. And I believe this is what most people consider to be his best album. It featured Jay-Z, Kid Cudi. Is that how you say that? I'm not wrong, right?
Yes, yeah, you're right.
Rihanna, RZA, and Elton John.
RZA, I think is how they say that.
I don't know that one though. I literally have no idea who that is. But what an ensemble of people there.
Look at that, Elton John.
Yeah, and the rapper won the Best Rap Album at the 54th staging of the Grammy Awards. Yeah, what songs are on that one? My Beautiful Studio Album by Ye, whatever. Oh yeah, All of the Lights, All of the Lights, All of the Lights. Yeah, these are, I feel like, songs that we're playing at parties.
Probably.
Yeah, except for Stronger. Did that come out after that? You know, the Harder, Better, and the Black and, is it Black and Yellow him too, or is that someone else?
Well, Stronger, that's just him pairing up with Daft Punk, right?
I don't remember.
Daft Punk is Harder, Better, Faster, Stronger.
But Kanye sings in that, right?
Maybe in a remix, not the original.
No, it's literally released by him on his album Graduation. That came out in 2007.
Oh, this is not the song I'm thinking of then.
It's the same song though. I think there's maybe the Daft Punk one might be a remix.
That might make more sense, I suppose.
Yeah. So maybe that some of the other songs I'm thinking about are also from the 2007 album, but I don't really know anything after 2010. After that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, so that's like what most people say is like his best album. Kanye and Jay-Z team up for Watch the Throne. In 2012, he releases Cruel Summer that has songs such as Mercy and Click, 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 Click. Why am I having word problems?
Words are hard.
In 2013, Kanye releases his most polarizing album, Yeezus. And it was unorthodox, but it still debuted at #1. In 2014, he marries Kim Kardashian. I have a whole separate timeline of events for that.
Oh, good.
Let's see. Also, somewhere the Nike Yeezys. I think that was around 2010, which I didn't even know those existed.
Yeah, and those are super expensive.
Yeah, I researched it because I was trying. I don't even know what tab that was in, but I think it was around 2010. I had too many pages open. But yeah, they're like $26,000 for like the first pair that I saw.
Yep.
Anyway, so in 2015 is when that switched over to Adidas. We know it's popular. People like their Yeezys. Honestly, I do have an inner conflict. Like, I haven't bought any because, well, I think I've only entered like 2 draws. But I also have an inner conflict because I don't really like Kanye as a person, and that makes me not want to wear the shoes.
Yeah, know what you mean.
In 2016, he released The Life of Pablo, and he went on a tour called St. Pablo Tour. It was canceled prematurely because he was hospitalized for exhaustion.
You know the Yeezy 350s that have the 350 SPLY? They allege that means St. Pablo loves you. Oh. So there you go.
Interesting.
Yep.
Apparently in 2019, Kanye reveals that he has met God, and he,
like, in person?
Assuming that's supposed to say started and not starred. But he had a popular Sunday service privately and then started to have the event across the world. So preach it, brother. In 2019, he releases Jesus is King. We can talk about that in the controversial things.
Oh boy.
And apparently this is ending now. I'm assuming he released this already. But he released an album called Donda 2, which I'm assuming is in memory of his mother who died 14 years ago.
Yeah.
And it is distributed through Def Jam.
Woo.
So yeah. I was gonna look up. I thought I had this, but then I couldn't find it. How many awards he has won?
Probably quite a few.
He has won 21 Grammys. He's one of the top Grammy winners in history. And is tied with Jay-Z as the highest decorated hip hop artist. I don't know. There's too many different types of awards. I don't think there's a static number anywhere, and I don't want to count them. But he has won and or been nominated for a ton of awards. So
yeah, I can imagine. If you win that many, you're getting nominated for tons.
And I mean, his music is definitely not bad. He's got some issues.
Sure.
Which we know. Also, did you look up the Passion of Kanye West? Because it's kind of weird.
No, I didn't.
He literally has like a thorn of crowns and like blood on his face. This is a weird title too. Like God Senator inside the war room of the religious right. And then Battlestar Galactica. The toughest, smartest show.
Oh gosh. Yeah, that picture does look familiar. I do remember seeing that.
Yeah, I definitely am pretty. I mean, I wonder if I was seeing it recirculated later. There wasn't much to do in 2006 except be on MySpace and Facebook, which were very different than they are today. But
right.
So I don't really know. I was never like on Tumblr or anything, but I mean, I was a little bit, but only because I felt like I had to. All right. So let's, I guess, jump into the controversies.
Before you do that, did you see Ian's message that he sent? Apparently someone called the godly Kratos commented, "Why are you talking about me?" on one of our God of War clips.
That's funny. How did I not? I don't even know that I got notified of that comment. I must have missed it.
That's pretty funny.
Oh, that's from an old reel too. Also, every time I post something, I keep thinking I'm getting a bunch of things, and then I go back and it's just that same Air Jordan video recirculating. And I'm just Air like, Jordan, why? Man. Like, watch the new reels. Why do you keep watching this one reel?
It's probably just like the algorithm. It just keeps like recommending that one because it has more traction.
Yeah, because that's probably a more consistently talked about topic on the internet than maybe anytime there's like a big drop. Maybe it's like recirculating.
It pops up.
Yeah. Anyways, so we're gonna jump into the controversies here.
Ooh, the fun part.
So 2005 is kind of the first one, which so Kanye's what? He's 28. I will say that your mid to late 20s can be a pretty tumultuous time. So,
Yeah.
But he's got platform, obviously. Obviously, platforms in the mid 2000s were drastically different than platforms are today.
Mm-hmm.
I've never really watched The Bachelor, but the podcast I was listening today, they were talking about like the Bachelor and how it's kind of like evolved because now all the contestants are expected to be like influencers when they're done. And if they're not consistently posting about their relationships, people think they've broken up. Although I guess there's only been like a few successful.
Yeah,
like,
there's not many that make it.
From the first 10 years, there's one relationship that's made it.
Yeah.
And I was like, honestly, I've never watched The Bachelor, but this conversation is pretty interesting. So
I know some people are wild about it.
All right, so 2005, Hurricane Katrina. During a live telethon to raise much needed money. Whatever happened to telethons? They definitely don't do those anymore. Now they just spam you.
Yeah, they would just stream like online.
Yeah, that's true. But apparently Kanye had other things on his mind. So he said, quote, George Bush doesn't care about black people. He blasted to the bemusement of Mike Myers beside him. Aren't there multiple Mike Myers? But this is like
Mike Myers, the fabled killer, or Mike Myers, the actual actor.
Yeah, but I think there's like multiple. Yeah, anyways.
Yeah.
The rapper, it seems, was frustrated at how mismanaged relief efforts were in New Orleans with predominantly poor neighborhoods destroyed. Which, I mean,
not wrong.
Sure, but the natural disaster doesn't care if it's a poor neighborhood or.
Are you sure?
I mean, I think so. Okay. I guess I don't really know what the mind of a natural disaster is like.
Yeah.
So that was kind of the first one.
That was a hilarious one to hear. I remember that back in the day.
I don't.
Everyone was just quoting it all over.
But my sister did go to New Orleans to help out, and that is when she hurt her back for the first time.
Oh, well. So,
yeah, she threw her back out probably doing something with sandbags is what I'm
probably
assuming.
Lifting a bus off a child or something.
Yeah, or that, she's got superhuman strength.
Yeah.
All right, 2006. This one is titled Pamela Anderson was in it. After Kanye's video for Touch the Sky lost to Justice and Simeon's clip for We Are Your Friends at the 2006 MTV Europe Music Awards, the rapper was having none of it. Angrily taking the microphone, which apparently he likes to take microphones from winning people. I did not know that this was a reoccurring
maybe a
theme.
Sore loser.
Yeah. So after angrily taking the microphone away from the winning pair, he unloaded a speech filled with expletives, insisting his video should have won instead because it, quote, cost $8 million. Pamela Anderson was in it. I was jumping across canyons. If I don't win, the awards show loses credibility.
Okay. I'm sure that went over well for him.
I don't think so. Is this a video? Is it a video of the thing?
The thing? A video of the thing that happened?
Oh, wait. Let me watch it first and see.
Okay. You got it, bruh.
Is this him?
Take a nice little picture of my podcast space here for you. Look at that.
Oh yeah, he literally just walks up there while they're saying thank you, and he looks pissed.
Oh, bro, he pissed.
I've never seen this video. I've seen the Taylor Swift one, but
yeah, everyone's seen that.
You'd think that. I guess they're probably. I don't know. It's only 3 years difference, but. Here, I'll send you the link. The first part is him being interviewed though, but if you skip to 105 is kind of when he comes on stage.
So it's probably been brewing this whole time for him to get to Taylor Swift or something.
Mm-hmm.
Oh God, he looks like a psychopath. Oh hell.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's not like you need to tell them that. They're not the one who decided who won.
Yeah. The winners are not the one who decided to give themselves the award.
Yeah. It's crazy.
I like how the crowd is still going woo.
I mean, what else do you do, Oh, it's nothing against you, but I'm just stealing your moment, no big deal. Yeah. Yeah.
Nothing
He's
against
wild.
you, but I'm better than you.
Yeah. So then jump ahead 3 years. It seems like this started out as like a every 3 to 4 year thing, and then it like, you know, it built more.
Yeah.
But in 2009 is during the MTV Music Awards. Again, although America, not Europe this time. He stormed the stage to question Taylor Swift winning for Best Female Video because he didn't think that she should win. And he said, "Yo, Taylor, I'm really happy for you. I'll let you finish. But Beyonce has one of the best videos of all time. One of the best videos of all time." And she was only 17. So, like, I mean, and I'm pretty sure,
Taylor
like,
Swift, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I feel like I remember seeing stuff like she handled it pretty well. Like she got interviewed afterwards and it was like super awkward.
Yeah.
Because she was just like, how do I respond to this? Like, you know, like, well,
they don't teach me how to act when a grown adult man freaks out.
Yeah, someone
public.
who's almost 20 years, or I guess only like 12 years older than her. But when someone who's 12 years older than you just like, storms the stage. But apparently he's described as America's favorite bad guy because of that.
Oh.
But yeah, also a lot of people like dislike Taylor Swift, but I also feel like when you're thrust into like the limelight as like a teenager, what else are you supposed to do, you know? Like you write songs about your crushes. So apparently there's some big conspiracy that Taylor Swift is like gay, even though she's been in a relationship for 6 years with a man. And I think it's just part of TikTok that shows up for me and this podcast list I follow. But apparently it's this whole thing called like Gaylor.
Oh.
Yeah.
As a code name, that's how you know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right. So then we're gonna jump to 2013. Kim Kardashian versus Michelle Obama. While pitching Kim K to be on the cover of Vogue, he strangely challenged the then First Lady to pose for a sexy swimsuit picture. He said, quote, "No one is looking at what the president is wearing. Michelle Obama cannot Instagram a sexy swimsuit pic." And these are in brackets, so obviously some of the words were changed a little bit, but like what my girl Instagrammed the other day, he said about Obama, who had previously covered Vogue in more appropriate attire. In 2015, in an interview with Click TV, Kanye pondered the meaning of racism. He said, "Racism is a dated concept," he unexpectedly claimed. "It's like a silly concept that people try to touch on to either to separate, to alienate, to pinpoint anything. It's stupid." He continued, "It's like a bouncing ball in a room with two cats or something. When you don't feel like playing with a cat, let them literally fight over the bouncing ball. And the bouncing ball has nothing, no purpose, anything other than that. It bounces. That's racism. It's not an actual thing that even means anything."
Okay. You say so, dude.
And now they start to happen more, right? That was 2 years. Yeah. The next year, he reveals his appreciation for Donald Trump during a San Jose show. Right. "If I would have voted, I would have voted on Trump," he claimed. "That don't mean that I don't think that Black Lives Matter. That don't mean I don't believe in women's rights. I wanted to say that before the election, but they told me, whatever you do, don't say that out loud. Not only did I not vote, but there were a lot of things I actually liked about Trump's campaign. His approach was effing genius because it worked." And then a few months later, he visited the Trump Tower.
Yeah, there you go. That was I remember that being a huge thing. And then he circles back more recently to the Black Lives Matter type thing.
That's true. That's true. We talked about that like 2 episodes ago because we got off on a rant. Hot Goss. I think that was the Hot Goss episode, but I'm not sure. It might have been the one before. And then in 2016, we have another feud with T-Swizzle because he released his song called Famous, which contains the lyric, "I made that bitch famous." And Swift claimed that Kanye, I think it also mentions her name, but he claims that Kanye never made her aware that that lyric was going to be in the song, but he claims that the opposite, but then there was leaked audio that proved, I guess, that she didn't know about the lyric. So seems really messy, but
a little bit. Not so clean.
Also, that looks like a weird music video. It's a bunch of naked people laying in bed. What is that? So 2016, he's just like, he's rapid firing because also he supports Bill Cosby.
Woo! So, not a good side of history to be on.
He declared Bill Cosby innocent, in a tweet.
Mm.
Yeah. So, and there's not a picture of his actual tweet that he posted, but he tweeted Bill Cosby innocent. And we all know that Bill Cosby was not innocent. Like, we know that.
Yeah.
And someone tweeted, are we sure Kanye isn't just a character from Zoolander?
Yeah, kind of. For real.
All right. So we've got a 2-year break in the madness. In 2018, he returns to Twitter in style. He said, you don't have to agree with Trump, but the mob can't make me not love him. We are both a dragon energy. He is my brother. I love everyone. I don't agree with everything anyone does. That's what makes us individuals. And we have the right to independent thought.
That sounds like a cocaine-fueled rant or something.
And then following that, he tweeted several pictures of Make America Great Again stuff signed by Trump.
Nice.
Also in 2018, he tells TMZ that when you hear about slavery for 400 years, that sounds like a choice, he claimed.
Sure was.
Yeah.
Anyway.
And then it doesn't necessarily seem like there was that much until this year and maybe the end of last year. So he made a lot of public statements about Kim Kardashian.
Of course.
There's a whole Us magazine listing of things that he said. I also had a New York Times timeline for everything post breaking up, because there was obviously a lot of stuff with Pete Davidson and whatnot.
Yeah, he was really going off there when they were together.
Yeah. But yeah, like he wants her to run right back to him in some lyrics of a song. She files documents that will make her legally single in December and requests to have her surname changed back to Kardashian. There's also a lot of stuff in this timeline about stuff with Pete Davidson, but he buys a house across the street from her.
Yeah.
She meets his girlfriend Julia Fox under unclear circumstances on December 31st. This isn't the one that has all the stuff he said because that was too much. But I also feel like, well, did they have to get like a restraining order against him or something? I feel like there was.
Yeah, they did something, and he was like hiding in bushes and shit.
Yeah,
I mean,
like,
he was being weird.
Very. The Zoom is making my computer run slow, so my switching back and forth between tabs is taking a minute. But yeah. I don't know. He said a lot of weird things. So yeah, purchasing the house next door because he doesn't want his children to be kept from him. Don't play with me. Don't play with my children. Ain't no security gonna get in between me and my children.
Right.
You ain't finna gaslight me. Who actually says that out loud?
You ain't finna gaslight me.
Apparently Northwest has a TikTok account which is shared with her mom that was created against his will. There's some drug test allegations. So that's exciting.
Drug testing for him? Or?
For him, it says, what do you mean by main provider? America saw you try to kidnap my daughter on her birthday by not providing the address. West slammed his estranged wife's claims that she was their children's primary caretaker via Instagram before discussing his attendance at daughter Chicago's birthday party. You put security on me inside of the house to play with my son, then accused me of stealing. I had to take a drug test after Chicago's party because you accused me of being on drugs.
Okay.
Tracy Romulus, stop manipulating him to be this way. Apparently he says that Kim accused him of putting a hit on her. So let me get this straight. I begged to go to my daughter's party and I'm accused of being on drugs, and I go play with my son and I take my Akira graphic novels and I'm accused of stealing. Now I'm being accused of putting a hit on her. These ideas can actually get someone locked up. They play like that with Black men's lives, whether it's getting them free or getting them locked up. I'm not playing about my Black children anymore. Yeah. Anyways, he's tweeted a lot of really intense things about his family. In February 2022, he wrote, "God, please bring our family back together." He pleaded apparently on Valentine's Day. Because he apparently believed that they would get back together. It's just a bunch of stuff like that, like wanting to protect her, wanting to be back together. And obviously Kim Kardashian and Pete Davidson broke up, so he was probably just like a rebound.
Yeah.
But have you seen their skit on Saturday Night Live?
If it's somewhat recent,
Jasmine and Aladdin. It was from last year. It's really weird.
Jasmine and Aladdin.
Yeah, I sent the link.
Yeah, I've got it going.
Yeah, I watched it just like a little bit ago. They kind of make some a little bit of digs at.
They make some shots at Kanye.
Yeah, a little bit, but also they make fun of Pete Davidson too. So I mean, when are you not making fun of Pete Davidson?
Yeah.
Yeah, that is kind of a long video to talk over though, but
yeah, a little bit.
But that's there, I guess, if you want to watch it.
Sometimes.
But he asks her about like who what type of people she's dated and stuff like that. Also recently George Floyd's daughter is or his family is suing Kanye West for $250 million for controversial comments.
It's a lot of dollars.
Yeah. So the rapper claimed Floyd died of a fentanyl overdose while appearing on a popular podcast called Drink Champs. So I'm assuming it's kind of, harassment, defamation, and emotional distress.
Yeah, I saw some like journalist or reporter put out, the actual cause of death to be like, don't listen to him, blah, blah, blah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I'm sure that must be like a fairly popular podcast. I don't listen to it, but
yeah, I don't know that one.
But yeah, and then all the stuff we were talking about a couple weeks ago with like the all of his like things he was posting and then deleting, and the white, was he wearing a White Lives Matter shirt?
White Lives Matter, yeah.
At some like Paris thing, and I mean obviously he has like bipolar disorder and stuff, so it's not, I'm sure that was untreated for a very large portion of his life, but
yeah.
But I have a hard time separating people from their art. My brain doesn't do that. So, because my students are like, "Oh, what do you think about Kanye?" And I'm just like, I mean, I don't know.
I don't know, bro.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I feel like that's most of the controversial things.
Yeah, I mean, he's got
a nice.
No, he's got a nice list going. I mean, give us a couple more months. There's probably gonna be something else.
Yeah, I mean, maybe in a few months we'll have like an update on Kanye or something.
Yeah, maybe like a mental health checkup.
Yeah, I had another longer article about that I found from the Chicago Tribune, because a lot of Chicagoans feel like what he's saying is destructive.
Yeah,
which probably makes sense in bigger cities where there's a lot of minorities and like inner city stuff. But I'm surprised that him changing his name wasn't in any of the like timelines that I looked
I was
at.
gonna mention that. I was like, I know he did legally change it, right?
Yeah, he did. When did?
I don't think it was that long ago.
No, and I wonder, it was 2018. I wonder, he was, yeah, it was in 2018. I think when he came back after his not being on Twitter for a while. He believes it's the most common word used in the Bible, and in the Bible it means you. So I guess that was why he changed his name.
So does he pronounce it like come ye all ye faithful?
Yeah, maybe. I've been confused the whole time about if it's supposed to be ye or yay. So
I would always just think it would be yay because it's Kanye.
Yeah, but then if you're thinking like Yeezy, then if it's just the shortened
and Yeezus or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, he said it's I'm you, I'm us, it's us. So must be yay.
All right.
Or ye, sorry. See, it's confusing. But yeah, so that's a lot.
A lot for sure.
Apparently in that same interview with about George Floyd, he also said Jewish Zionists were behind a recent disclosure by his wife. Something about Pete Davidson and Kim having sex by the fireplace to honor their grandmother. I don't really understand that,
like
but I don't know
anything about madman.
I don't know anything about the Jewish religion, so maybe that's maybe that's
I don't think he does either.
Yeah, I mean, probably not. Wow. But yeah, so I think that, I mean, there's obviously going to be people who love controversial people, but I feel like he's definitely like losing followers, probably especially after the slavery was a choice comment.
It's been kind of downhill since then, you know?
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure it wasn't great before then, but
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, he's starting to get, you know, public like celebrities and stuff to turn against him. So he's going in a downward path.
Yeah. Someone is quoting us saying, everything that happened with Donald Trump happened because words resonated with people and it mobilized a lot of white supremacist activity and activity that is making present times really dangerous for Black people. And I just really wish Kanye understood that and that his words were baiting and undermining a lot of progressive grassroots work that is being done, particularly by Black women and queer youths.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's probably pretty true.
Regression.
It's a lot of yeah. A lot of people say he's misusing his platform.
Yeah, that's true.
And that makes sense. I mean, there are also a lot of people who think that celebrities shouldn't post anything about their beliefs or politics at all. Yeah. But also like then I mean, regular people shouldn't either if you think about it, because like celebrities don't have a non-celebrity status place.
The only difference is celebrities have a lot of people to listen.
Yeah.
No one cares about the other people.
But also like, I don't know. I guess if you reach a point in your career where that doesn't matter, then like, why not? I'm sure most celebrities are like, if you don't like my beliefs, then you don't have to like me, you know?
Yeah, that's true.
Because like, what do they care? Like, they don't care.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like you just have to be in like a high enough. There's like a whole thing in like country with Maren Morris and Jason Aldean's wife, because Jason Aldean's wife, who he cheated on his first wife with, by the way, like made a video about how she was glad that just because she was a tomboy, her parents didn't like let her or force her to like do something irreversible. Like, because there's people who like feel like that, you know? And then Maren Morris like tweeted something that was like calling her out, but without like saying who she was talking about. And then they talked about it on the Tucker Carlson show, and they referred to her as a crazy lunatic like country woman or something. So she made shirts and put them on her store, and all of the proceeds from people buying the shirt went to a trans youth organization. And I was like, way to like circle that back around, you know?
Yeah, spin it in a good way for once.
Yeah. But yeah. I mean, and I feel like I've never really watched Tucker Carlson, and I felt bad for searching the video because I know that was just adding more views.
Yeah.
But like, I wanted to see like what happened.
Right.
Anyways, this is probably a longer episode than I thought it was going to be because there's a lot to talk about with Kanye. But yeah. So that's Kanye.
Yeah. The more you know.
Yeah. Do you have anything else to talk about?
I don't think so.
Okay. Do you have anything to plug?
Not really to plug, but we're watching what are you doing? Weird stuff, tongue stuff to the microphone while I'm trying to focus.
Yeah.
We're watching Chainsaw Man, so
I don't know what that is. But I did watch the first episode of the Midnight Club last night.
Nice. Which had a weird call out to Lewiston.
Yeah, because at the place that it's taking place in is supposed to be in Seattle. So far there hasn't been very many characters from the other ones, but I know more of them are in it. I think they just play more minor roles because the main characters are all like teenagers. But but I like how they like reuse the house and the cars and like all this stuff. Like that's cool to me.
Yeah. Nice.
Yeah, if you haven't tried toe spacers, I'm gonna plug toe spacers. That's these things. You put them on your feet. It helps align your toes in a more natural way.
And you can paint your toenails easier.
Well, yeah, my toenails were already painted, but I've been having a lot of foot pain, you know? And I mean, I did just get new running shoes and those obviously help, but I started doing this like last week. And you're supposed to start doing more things in them. Like the first day I put them on, it kind of hurt. But you're supposed to do like stretching and just kind of like wearing them. Because our shoes, modern shoes, are designed to make your toe box really narrow. And it's not how feet are supposed to be. And I kept seeing all the CrossFit athletes post about toe spacers. And obviously they have like partnerships and they get paid for it, whatever. But I was like, you know what? I get so much foot pain that I feel like I should try that to see if it helps. And it was helping before I even got my new shoes because my Pegasuses were wearing out and it's making my feet hurt. And after I started using these, it stopped. So
there you go.
Yeah. Also, those new shoes, really comfortable. And I'm kind of upset that I didn't buy a second pair while they were on sale so that I had a pair for when these ones wore out and they're not on sale anymore. So
I'm sure they will be again.
I'm sure because they just released the like new model and that's why they were on sale. So I'm sure at some point they'll go on sale again. But I mean, they were 50% off and they actually think I like them better than my Brooks. So that's impressive. They're freaking bright though.
Orange.
Maybe I'll buy everyone toe spacers and Jesus candles for Christmas. Call it good.
It's gonna be quite a Christmas.
Yeah. Jackie's probably the only one listening, maybe if she still listens, but custom Jesus candles and toe spacers. That's what we're doing.
There you go. Expect it.
Heck yeah. But I guess that's it probably. So if you want to send us an email, you can send it to 5FIVE more minutes@gmail.com. You can follow us on all of our socials at 5 MMPOD and use the hashtag 5MMPOD. And you can find us on any podcasting app and on YouTube. You can download our episodes. That'd be super awesome. Subscribe. I get notifications every Sunday. That's like, hey, your podcast episode's out. It doesn't say that because it doesn't know that it's my podcast, but it says that. And share us with your friends and family, your friends who are your family, and your family who's more like friends and family.
Yeah. And we're clocking out till next time then.
Bye.
See you.